All right, y'all. Hi, Ruth Delgado and Ruth Delgado's Glamour Page here. Sorry, I'm here in my PJs. I'm getting a late start today. Um, I'm supposed to be trying to get out of the house today. I've been in the house probably almost for a week now, except for going out maybe once. So today I was supposed to be trying to get out of the house, but I don't know. I've been going through a lot of different things, and I have been going through them alone and been really being challenged drastically, not having anyone to talk to confide in, to connect with, that understands me or at least wants to understand me and figure me out and accommodate me on what I need and what I want. But I remembered, duh, that's why you started your YouTube channel, sweetheart, as a visual diary. So that's why I decided, you know what? Don't worry about coming on camera with your PJs on. It's a visual diary. That means you can come on camera however you decide that you want to come on camera. So, y'all, it is in the middle of the day. I am still in my PJs, but so what? I don't care who wants to judge. You want to judge, you can never see me again. And I'd be okay with that. So I decided to come to camera to my visual diary and release how I'm feeling, release what's going on with me. So that's what I decided to do. I have been very stressed dealing with my situation that I'm in right now, that is coming through the door as I speak. And I've been doing the best that I can to try to work with the situation and not allow it to just stress me out. And it seems that no matter how much I try to work with the situation and not allow it to stress me out, the person that is connected to the situation is just constantly trying to stress me out anyway. It's just like no matter how hard I try to fight to ensure that I'm not constantly hurt, that person that's actually constantly hurting me is not trying hard to fight in what they're doing. So it's only a one sided situation where it's like, okay, I'm trying to heal myself. I'm trying to take myself out of bad circumstances and situations and adjust and put myself in a better mentality. But I'm the only one that's actually doing that. And I'm feeling the effects of that. And it's frustrating because it's like, when you're working on yourself, the last thing you need is to have someone around you that's literally fighting your progress. That's the last thing you need. And it's like it's overwhelmingly frustrating because it's like, I wouldn't force myself to deal with it if I wasn't sitting here trying to really get grounded and get my foundation as stable as possible. But because that is the circumstance and the situation, here's where I am. And I'm just like praying constantly, you know, um, doing the best that I can to, in a healthy way, recognize how I feel and not ignore how I feel like the people that's around me keep doing. But it makes me constantly in conflict with myself because I know I don't have to stay around these people that keep ignoring how I feel. I know I can kick their behinds to the curb, but I also know that I need the foundation that is more secure than I've ever had before, and I don't have it as a at the moment. So gaining that is where I am and where I'm like really trying to stay steadfast and staying strong in that. But it's frustrating because when people keep hurting you and they know that's what they're doing because you even tell them and they still do it, it's like that's the utmost disrespect that a person could ever do. is just keep doing exactly what you tell them that you don't like, and not and show that they don't even care. And then they keep telling you that they love you. It's crazy. And so it's like, I understand why it exists. It exists because you got people that are family that act like this towards each other. So of course, a person can act like this towards somebody that's not family, or somebody who's family they can act like that towards. All bets is off with you. You're not family. If people could do their family dirty, you know they don't care about you. So it's just like, I understand that that's 9 times out of 10 why people think that it's okay to act that way, because in some sense, some kind of connection or relationship that they have is not healthy and not strong, or wasn't healthy and wasn't strong. But that's what they map their mentality of what love is off of. And so that's why they think that it's okay to act that way. Meanwhile, you understand it's not. But now you have yourself stuck in a situation where you got too connected to somebody you shouldn't have been connected to. You didn't find out until later that you shouldn't have been connected to that person. You didn't understand until later why. So I decided to go ahead and continue my visual diaries with you guys, because I had to remember the reason why I started it. The reason why I started Ruth Delgado Glamour page is so that I could be able to make connections with people that have the same type of complications and issues that I have. They may have the same kind of heart that I have. They may, maybe have the same type of similar situations that I have. And maybe hearing from me will help you to understand you're not the only one. Maybe hearing my story will actually help you to realize, okay, you know what? Now I think I know what I need to do for myself. Maybe hearing my story will actually give you some insight on your life, maybe, possibly. I don't know. But that's why I decided to do this channel in the first place, because I was like, you know what? It's probably some people out there that can see and recognize, excuse me,
there's too many things on, okay? My
can
bill's
see
already high.
and recognize
If you on the computer,
that you, can you stop, please? Obviously, I'm looking at it, so stop.
And you doing it?
Stop.
My bill already high.
Stop. This is why it's like so difficult for me to like maintain composure and do everything in a flow that I need to do it in, because every time I turn around, it's another issue or complication that doesn't have to be. I'm sitting here multitasking because I need to keep my mind stimulated so that I don't allow the frustration that I'm feeling to overwhelm me and keep me from making more progress. So that's why, to keep myself stimulated, I have to have a few things on. I don't need to explain that to nobody. And it's crazy how people treat people like that. It's, man. Yo, like I said, I decided to share my experience with you guys, because if you guys are going through anything similar, this could probably help you. I'm recognizing that instead of complaining about what I don't like that's going on in my life and that's going on with me, I need to use these negative experiences as an example of what I will never allow myself to reconnect again with. I hope that makes sense. Whether in friendships, whether in relationships, in whatever bonds, doesn't matter. I'm learning to, instead of constantly for the sake of complaining, just keep complaining about the same things, recognize the lesson that I needed to learn, what I needed to notice in the situation, what I needed to take out of the situation, and apply that to my life. And take heed to the fact that I know that you can't achieve goals without sacrificing something. So therefore, sometimes some of these situations are just situations that God put me in so that I can make the sacrifices needed so that I can get what I actually want. And I'm doing everything that I can to maintain that balance within myself so that I can kind of like constantly remind myself and understand that. Because sometimes I know we do. We get ourselves all confused up in thinking that, oh, life is supposed to be simple. Life is supposed to be easy. Who said that? Nobody. But I guess because of how much we constantly try to make life simpler and easier as we live, we feel like life is supposed to be easier and simpler. Well, the only way you can make it easier and simpler is if you strategically, purposefully make it easier and simpler for yourself. And the only way that you can do that is by making certain sacrifices. You can't get advantages without sacrifices. It's not going to work. And that's why I have to keep reminding myself that that's why bad times and bad connections do still matter. Even though you're not supposed to waste years on them, they do still matter because you can still learn from them. You know, and as long as you learn the lesson, that's what's the most important. You know, God's not just putting us through hell just to put us through hell because he just like to see us go through hell. And I think that's how we be feeling. I know that's how I be feeling. But in all actuality, I think it's kind of like a parenting thing. It's kind of like how maybe your parents would possibly create a circumstance or a scenario for you to see how you would respond and to see if you have matured in how you respond to certain things. I feel like that's how God deal with us. He deal with us like we his kids. Like, you know, how you, if you have a child, you know, if your child is getting older, maybe you have a teenage child and you want to make sure that your teenage child is getting more mature and they're actually learning from their mistakes and they're not constantly repeating them. You might create a scenario that might put them in a bad situation or a bad position just so you can see how well they are able to maneuver and how well they have matured and become more responsible and recognize, oh, okay, so this is a better way of how I can deal with things and how I can do things, and in that way showing you as the parent that they are maturing, showing you as the parent that when they become adults, they are not going to just be sitting there doing whatever and thinking that they just going to make everybody deal with whatever crap that they want to deliver. No, they're going to be very conscientious adults, and they're going to be very responsible adults and understand that what I do affects other people that are around me. I cannot keep sitting there zoning out, oh, I'm doing this for myself, I'm doing this by myself, and I'm not by myself. And then want to get mad at the person when they do ensure that I end up by myself. You can't do that to people. You have to understand your fault. You have to recognize your BS too. We got to get out of the mindset that, oh, I'm just supposed to look at everybody else's problems. I'm not supposed to actually pay attention to mine. No, you are. You're supposed to pay attention to what you do too. Just as well as you pay attention to all of the negativity that everybody else does, you're supposed to pay attention to what you do too. How you affect the world too. How you affect the people around you too. Because if you're making everybody that's around you disappointed, if you are hurting everybody that's around you, but yet you keep saying you love them, you need to stop ridiculing everybody that's around you and take a look in the mirror. And you need to understand that instead of you sitting there constantly pointing at everybody else and not recognizing that you're actually pointing at yourself by pointing at everybody else, you need to really actually focus in on you and see what the problem is with you. And recognize that everybody ain't got the same problem with you because of them. It's because of you. I mean, I had to come to this realization at a point too. And I didn't even want to realize it. I didn't. Because for real, no lie, the human psyche does not want to admit when it's wrong. So I was at a point myself where I didn't want to admit that I wasn't the way that I could have possibly be. I wasn't my best version of myself. But when I did start to recognize that I wasn't my best version of myself, I understood why it was important for me to not only admit it, but why it was important for me to always take responsibility when I recognized that my behavior is not the best. But also recognize other people's behavior as I recognize my own. Not just recognizing other people's behavior, but ignoring my own. Because see, that's what a lot of other people do. That's what I used to do. I don't do that anymore. I recognize my own behavior first and recognize, okay, I'm not wrong for how I'm moving. I'm not wrong for how I'm addressing this situation. I'm not wrong for what I'm doing here. I'm standing up for myself. This is what I'm supposed to do. When you recognize those things, you don't have to worry about people trying to beat you down emotionally and psychologically and mentally because they don't like the fact that you're standing up for yourself. Embrace the fact that they don't like the fact that you're standing up for yourself and recognize that's exactly the reason why you need to make sure that you don't never gravitate to anybody else that make you feel like this again. That's what they're there for. They're not there to torture you. It feels like torture, but that's not what they're there for. They're there to get you to learn that this is what you don't want. And when you recognize that this is what you don't want, that's what you got to make sure you never gravitate to again. So y'all, just like I'm learning, learn how to recognize your own habits and your own personality so that when you got people around you that want to make you feel like you tripping, recognize and understand you not tripping when you recognize yourself first and you know you moving right, you moving respectfully, it ain't you. Y'all, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you become a part of the Truth Tribe. Because when you vibing with Ruth, you vibing with the truth. And that's just that on that. I see y'all when I come back. Peace out.